Hey, Todd here. So I'm making the commute into the studio this morning. I've got some Nike product to shoot today, and I'm going to kind of show you a little before and after, show you how people do the basic lighting on these shoes, just your basic look to it, and I'm going to show you the way I light it to make them look a lot more interesting, let's say that. And I'm going to show you some of the tips, the tools, and the little tricks I use to get these shots. So as soon as we get past this red light, we're going to head on into the studio. Right, made it in, so let's get started. First off, let's talk shoe prep. I've already prepped all the shoes the other day, so they are ready to go. And the main thing you got to look at when you're prepping shoes is you want to get the laces to be all the same direction, the tongue to look nice, up, projected out, and stuffed. And we use just batting material that you can get in any fabric store for stuffing pillows. I've just got a garbage bag full of this stuff so I can stuff a ton of shoes or backpacks or whatever product I'm shooting. And you just want to make sure, you get the stuffing in there as far as you can so you don't really see it when you're looking at a side profile or tipping it like this. And you don't want to overstuff the shoe so it doesn't look wrong. You just want to stuff it until it looks correct, like your foot was in there. And then I use these wood skewers I'll use to help prop the tongue apart so it looks nice up here, nice wide, so it's not too narrow looking. I'll stick a little piece of dowel, that skewer wood in there to hold that up, and that makes that look nice. And then we typically show lace them, which is running the top lace back inside the shoe itself, so it's nice, looks nice and clean and simple like that. So I've done that to all these shoes, and you want to make sure all your laces look nice and in the right position. And I use these sutures that some different lengths so I can stuff the product, stuff more stuffing in the shoe and get it down. Sometimes you'll have a dent someplace and you really need to work that batting material into that spot to help correct the look of the shoe. And then I use the smaller ones to adjust laces underneath, slide this underneath like this, make sure they're not twisted weird, all that type of thing. So these are all look really good. Sometimes you just need to go back and re-tighten things. But that, and then if you've got this is a handheld steamer that I have that usually goes on location with me. It's always good to have a steamer, but having a good commercial steamer that I've got here to steam out the laces. So a lot of times they come pre-tied when they're in the box brand new. I'm sure you've all seen when you get a new shoe, they're like loop lace tied in there in a knot and they're all dented and wrinkled, so you have to steam those out, especially if you're going to do a shot where you want the laces laying out on the background or something like that. You definitely want to be able to steam those out. So that's and then armature wire. This is another thing you can get at art stores. The people that do clay and mold and stuff like that use this stuff a lot for sculpting, but I use it to stick inside the shoes as well. You can see right in there. Oh, no, you can't see it. There you can. See right in there, you can see the armature wire I'm using to keep the tongue up and wide so it looks nice when you're looking at it from the front view. So armature wire is good too because you can really mold it to where you want if the tongue isn't sticking up far enough. So that's a look at prepping the shoes. Those are all prepped. Didn't want to show you that because that would just it takes too long to do. But that's the tools and the techniques I use to get these shoes to look perfect for when they're going on the set. So let's look at what I use on set, fill cards, and other things to work with the shoes when they're on set. So let's look at that now. We're using just a simple gray background, gray sweep, 9-foot sweep. A good big long table is great. This table's just a little short. It's an 8-footer, just a little short of 9 feet, which is really nice to have. so you can spread out with all your different things you're going to need. So I've got some different fill carts here. This is just a nice piece of tin that's bendable, so you can create, move the shadows, the highlights where I want. I can fill in the shadows, is what I meant to say, with this and be able to work it around. This is another fill cart I use a lot. It's got a shiny side silver and a dappled size silver, so I can kind of soften the highlight a little bit or make it really hard. And then I've got another piece of armature wire that goes into this guy right here, and that lets you put it on a stand and make it adjustable, bend it to wherever you want, twist it, all that kind of stuff. So that's really a nice thing, and that's made by a company called Lowell. I've had this for, 20 years, so I don't know if it's still out there and available. And then I've got another adjustable arm here that'll go into a knuckle on a C-arm, and it's got a little clip on the end, a little alligator clip that you can clip something on like that and then be able to bend it wherever you want it to go and it'll stay. So that's really nice when you're adding these little bits of fill to the shoe or whatever product you're shooting. Then I've got some mirrors that are kind of broken pieces of mirrors that really work well for highlighting things, and they're small and they're kind of different shapes, so I can create a different shape highlight. That's the same thing with this tin that I have over here. I can cut it to different shapes and be able to bend it, so I've got different pieces that are laying around, all cut to different sizes. Black velvet, I've got little pieces of black velvet that I can stick in the shoe, or it works great, say if something's white and I want to bring down that highlight or bring down the white, I can put this right up against the product. It'll reflect the black into the product, shoot that shot, then take it away, shoot it again, then you've got the background and just retouch the two together. And then got these blocks right here, a couple different sizes of really heavy blocks that help hold up fill cards. Well, here's another one that's just a cardboard, or not cardboard, but cardstock, white or white, silver, and this one's good too. And it just, if you put something up like this, sometimes it slides. Gum erasers work great. I've got just a wad of them here together, and then I can use that just to hold the fill card from sliding. And this is another good, this cardstock white silver is great, although the white is kind of yellow because I've had this one for quite a while. That it's a great size, so I've used it a ton. Have that. Numerous blocks, different size blocks, angled ones, just to get things to different angles. I've got those. These wobble widget things, which have a little groove on them so you can put them together and they stay together. Or you can put them two and stack them, get higher, or just one. Help to get the shoe in the right position for me. And then I've got a small net that goes onto a grip arm as well, and I can adjust. If I need to flag off a little bit of light off of a shoe, I can use this. This is like a two-stop net. I think it's a two-stop. Yeah, I believe it's two-stop. But I can twist and control this thing just to flag off a little bit of light off of an area. This works really good. This is a great tool to have. And again, I use the skewers. I use the skewers to prop up a shoe. If I want a shoe to stand on its toe or something so it's up vertically, I don't use fishing line. I don't like that because it spins and twists. I know it's easy to retouch, but nowadays these things are so easy to retouch out. It holds the shoe or the product in, whatever. I can just put it right on the top of it and holds it in position so it's not falling over or spinning like you get a lot with fishing line, which is always just a pain in the butt to deal with. It's moving, it's blowing, that kind of thing. And then the armature wire also works, which you can shove through the back of the background and put the product, tape it onto here or stick it in some way, hold it up, works well also. And you got to have dust off. Keep the product clean, the background clean, all dust off, cans of dust off, multiple in the studio all the time for different shots. So that's a look at the tools I use. And now we'll look at the lighting. Your typical light, which most people use, is a, bring it down. Most people use a softbox of some sort over the top, just very simple lighting over the top. That's what they'll use. Different size, could be much bigger softbox. This is what I'm going to use today. Actually, I'm going to use it for the background, but we'll show you how most people would just light the shoe from the top, and that'd be pretty basic, but I'm going to use that for the background eventually. And my main source is going to be just a bare head, a bare Profoto head with a grid, 30-degree grid. That's going to be my main light today for these shots. And I like a little harder light, gives the definition, brings out the definitions in the shoes and the different things they've got going on. So I like a nice hard light, gives me a great shadow to work with too as well. But that's where you need all these fill cards to come in. So this is going to be the one main light that's lighting the shoe. This will be kind of a background light that won't really affect the shoe. This is going to be our main light today. Okay, so now let's get into actually lighting the product. Oh, and we're shooting with the R5 and a 70 to 200 to start with, and then I get into other funky lenses, but super wides and different things to throw things out of perspective or whatever. But starting with a 70 to 200 on the R5. All right, we're going to start with just a simple, this shoe, it's got a nice little indentation of the EYBL on the side. We're just going to shoot a simple side profile, which you see a lot in these shoe shots. You would have a box, probably a bigger box in this setup, but for today, this is what I'm going to show you because I'm going to use it later. So this would be just your basic light on these shoes for knockouts or whatever. And you got to have a bunch of C-stands too with these grip arms. I forgot to say that. And we're shooting to CaptureOne, tethered with a Area 51 cable, tether cable. They're 30-footer, 31-footer. Love that cable. Works great. Yeah, so let's take a look at the first shot with just your basic over-the-top lighting on this shoe. So that's your basic over-the-top light. Not too bad, actually, but pretty basic. We can add a little bit of fill to it with this card here. Just kick in a little shiny board on the front of that guy, probably in the frame. Kick it from the side a little bit, see what that looks like. Yeah, and that adds a little nice thing. So something like that would be the first shot I would do. So now let's get into the way I'm gonna light these for these shoe shots. So we'll get set up for that now. We're gonna use one hard light, like I said earlier, off to the side. And then this light will now become my background light that really isn't gonna affect the lighting on the shoe at all. It's just gonna be low power on the background. So I'm gonna set that up now. So I've moved my background, the light that was the main light over the top, I've moved it back now, so it's just gonna hit the background. And now we're going to, we've got our main light over here coming in, our grid that's raking across the front of the shoe. We'll have to turn off the overheads now just so I can see exactly what my light's gonna do. So I'm gonna do that now. So I've got the overheads off now, and now I can really start to see how this light is raking across the front of the shoe. And I can see I got some dust on here. We're gonna get rid of a couple spots. Make sure my tongue is up good on that. So that's looking nice. So I can see now that this EYBL logo that's on the side right here isn't showing up great. So we're gonna add some fill into that to make that pop. So you can see just what I've added here That little rake across the EYBL logo makes that logo just pop now, like that. Then we're going to add another fill card, probably this down here to the, and we'll get one of our blocks and we're going to fill in this little air logo right there. We're just going to kick a little light onto it. And if you come from the side a bit, rake it a touch, it makes it pop off. So now let's take a look at that. There we go. Now we're talking. Just a little bit of gray in the background, and that's looking really good, making that shoe look nice. So now that I've got the look and feel of how I want this all to look, I wanted to show you how I'm using the skewers right here to hold up the product instead of fishing line or any other tool. This is just super simple, easy with the C-stands here, bringing them in, then working my shiny cards here to where I want them to hit on the soles of the shoe and the side and everything. So that's basically the lighting I'm using, and that going from something basic, simple to a little more edgy, picking up the textures more with this harder light source versus the soft. So let's take a look at the remainder of the shots I've already done, and you can see the finished product. Cropped square. Everything had to be cropped square to go social media. So that was a look at the shots and the lighting. If you have any questions, leave it in the comments below. I'll get back to you, any comments, whatever. And you can probably look for these shots on Instagram coming up pretty soon. Maybe already posted on the Nike EYBL girls or just the Nike EYBL, I don't know which one. Appreciate you watching, and until next time, I'm out.